All right, good evening, everyone. My name is David Freese. I'm the mayor of Tonganoxie. I'm going to call to order this February 17th, 2026 meeting of the Tonganoxie City Council. Ms. Huntington, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Wilkie?
Here.
Ms. McCutcheon?
Here.
Ms. Stevens is absent. Ms. Gruby? Here. Mr. Dale?
Here.
Would you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the regular meeting dated February 2, 2026. Do we have any conversation about the minutes, or are we ready to pass them?
Motion to approve the minutes as
All right,
presented.
thank you, Mr. Dale. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 on the agenda is the consent agenda, in which we review bill payments from the previous period. Anything stand out that you want to talk about, or have any questions, or do you have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. McCutcheon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Gruby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 on the agenda is the old business. We don't have any old business listed, but this is the time when we ask the public to sign up to speak if they'd like to. Did we have any sign-ups, Mr. Porter?
Yes, Mayor, we have David Todd here to address the council.
All right, great.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to meet you all. My name's David Todd. I'm at 23209 Dempsey Road. I see some familiar faces. I've been associated with the county fair as either the president or secretary for over 35 years. So I've dealt with a lot of you folks over the years. But what I'm here tonight is to announce to you, I am running for county commissioner for the 5th district, which is currently held by Mike Steben. He is not seeking re-election. And I just wanted to come introduce myself to y'all and let you know I'll be in the community a lot at events and campaigning. And I've left some cards with Dan. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and email or call me. And I want to invite everybody. We're having our first meet and greet on March the 8th at the public library. It's a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4. Just people can come in, come and go as they please, and talk to me about what they perceive as issues with the county government, what they'd like me to work on if I'm elected, and just get to know each other. So thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Todd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we have one other sign up, Terry Lois Todd.
Okay.
I'm Mrs. David Todd. I don't have anything to say. I just like saying I'm Mrs. David Todd, so I thought I'd share. No, you know me. I have something to share with you. Yesterday, I gave testimony on HB 2696. That is a bill that I introduced, and in order to try and, again, death by 1,000 paper cuts to any type of fraud. Currently, every document I record requires a notary public, but no one is checking that that person signing as notary is the certified notary with the Secretary of State's office. And that was the genesis of that bill, to make a process where the notary would have to be certified in the field, that they are the one and the same as the notary who signed up to stop notary fraud. The American Land Title Association says that of all the title fraud reported, a fourth of that is including notary fraud. So we don't completely stop fraud with this, but I'll take 25% less on title theft. The other thing is, I think you're aware I am recording now self-imposed biometric liens. This is where it's voluntary by the owner of the property. They come in and you attach your face to your deed. Someone comes in and wants to steal your property, we smile and say, look at the camera. And fraudsters don't like to have their picture taken. And when their picture does not match the picture on file, it's one way that we can try to detour any attempts at title theft. The other part of that I'm very excited about. We have completed half of the required programming so that on the appraiser's website, if you do file a self-imposed biometric lien on your property, it freezes your property from conveyance or from a mortgage being added to your property. And on the appraiser's website, there will be a nice red bold warning, and it says, property locked for conveyance, contact Register of Deeds. Fraudsters are lazy. They are not going to try and overcome that. So these are just a couple of more ways as your Register of Deeds that I'm trying to protect your properties. I do want to mention that with my new name, if you have old contact information for me, that email is going to bounce. So to contact me at my office, it's ttodd@leavenworthcounty.gov. And again, I will leave cards with Dan. Thank you for your service, and thank you for the opportunity to talk with you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Appreciate you both and your willingness to do public service. It's a great calling. Okay, that concludes old business. We'll move on to new business. Item A, consider approval of adjustments to UTV city licensing procedures. Mr. Porter?
Thank you, Mayor. This item would be new to several of the newer members of the City Council. You may or may not be familiar with the city's UTV licensing program. It was instituted back in 2019 with the passage of an ordinance in April of that year. And basically, it outlines specific regulations for the operators of UTV, or I forget the acronym, what that means. You know what a UTV is, I hope. Something terrain vehicle. I don't know the U. Utility, thank you. Good call. So with this, they go through a registration process involving the police department inspecting the vehicle for required safety equipment and other parameters, and then City Hall staff processing a license on an annual basis. This provides a sticker, and now that's 2 stickers, one in the front, one in the back. So any operating UTV you see in the city limits, not part of a parade or an approved special event, must have those stickers and be current on registration. One thing that wasn't really seen adequately at the time of that program's creation was the idea that setting an annual license that renews each year is easy enough to know for people once they're in the system and doing it. But for new people who come in at a poor time of year by coincidence, and we see a rise in the spring months in particular as people buy these thinking there's good weather coming up, they're ready to ride them all summer, and they may buy it with 2 months to go before the renewal period was set. So in effect, the lack of a proration system on the fees or a grace period for new registrants would mean they'd pay the annual $200 fee, let's say in February right now, they'd owe that same fee in May for the next year. And so that's been problematic, and we don't want to have a negative experience, especially for new people to the program. We want them to come back and be understanding. So staff have worked in a group session or two to develop the proposal in the agenda statement. You'll see that it includes a few changes, and we tried to outline those by specific topics. So for renewals, for the purchase price of UTVs, no adjustments. For the licensing term, shifting from May 1st to July 1st, just to better align with our fiscal calendar. It's the halfway point of the fiscal year. And then for those who choose to register a new UTV from July 1st through the end of the calendar year, it would still be the $200 charge and cover until the following July 1st. So they'd essentially have 6 to 12 months of coverage for that. For anyone from January 1st to March 31st, there would be charged a prorated fee of half the annual license. That still helps the city recover the cost of registration, but it lessens that penalty or burden that new users felt when they registered in the spring and then were asked to register again really soon. What we'd also like to propose for new registrations are those within 3 months of the renewal, cover 15 months or up to 15 months instead of being asked to come right back in a few months later. We feel this is a pretty fair program. We have about 20 to 25. 1 year was down to about 16, and we think a lot of that was negative experiences with the registration, timing and hassle, quote unquote, but it has been, we think, a fairly successful program, and we haven't had a lot of pushback for changes other than topics like this. So sorry for the detailed and rambling explanation, but happy to take any questions you have.
Thanks for the detail. Do we have any questions for Mr. Porter? Not seeing any, I would accept a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion to approve and direct staff to proceed with UTV licensing, prorated fees, and administration as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Gruby. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item B under new business is to consider the authorization to execute letter of engagement and letter of consent for auditing services. Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is not one that we typically bring to the City Council on an annual basis. It is one of the items is an annually required process. So the letter of engagement that you see in the agenda packet is the city's agreement with our auditing firm, who as part of an annually required audit reviews our financial information, our processes, our staff, our management, and issues a comprehensive report to you at the end of that process. We file that with the state as required by state law. That engagement letter is standard. It just basically outlines roles and responsibilities. The second letter in the packet, called a letter of consent, is the reason we're bringing both letters to you tonight. The city's worked for the past 5 years with a company called Burbick, Trahan and Company, BT & Co. Very successfully. We've had good audit processes. Each year they've changed up the staff that work on the audit for the city, which is an auditing best practice, so you don't develop too much familiarity or relationship with your auditing staff. With that, the company has grown, and actually just a few months ago in December announced that they're merging with another company called Swindle, Jansen, Hawk, and Lloyd. So with that, another auditing firm, this one based out of McPherson, Kansas, but in a regional work area. So with that, the new combined firm is taking the name of Swindle, Jansen, Hawk, and Lloyd. The staff from BT & Co. or Burbick, Trahan and Company are joining as part of the merger. Many of the same audit management staff, like Kayla Williams, who presented the audit findings to the council last fall, will remain in the same positions at least for this year, and if not, going forward. The letter of consent included in the packet essentially is the city authorizing BT & Co. or the residual entity of BT & Co. to give the work papers, which is really all the mountains of detail and information from prior year audits, to the new combined firm. It's sort of a formality, but they do need the city's permission to do that, and it's hugely beneficial in every year in the audit, starting with some history and context. So there is no risk to the city. There's no giving up of anything. It's really just to help streamline the process, so we're not starting from scratch with this new team. But I do want to highlight too that the audit of fiscal year 2025 is due to kick off in May and probably accelerate through June and finish up in late summer. So you'll see the audit report mentioned in staff updates periodically through that process, and then you'll see a draft and hear the report from the auditor at the end of the summer this year. So that is our last year of engagement also with this firm. So at some point the council will have a decision about whether to ask them for additional years as a proposal or to take a different action for procuring it. But sorry again, a lot of detail, but happy to take any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. I don't have any questions. Council, do you? I see a lot of head shaking, so I would accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor and city staff to proceed with execution of the letter of engagement for auditing services for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and the letter of consent to disclose and provide work papers associated with engagement with the city of Tonganoxie.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That ends new business. We'll move on to city manager agenda item. Mr. Brockovich, do you have anything?
Mayor, we just have one item listed this evening, and that is the financial report, and we'll ask Mr. Porter to roll through that.
Thanks, George. The financial report's the longest item on the agenda tonight, but I promise it'll be the shortest presentation. It reflects only 1/12 of our fiscal year 2026, so actuals through the end of the month of January. That's about 8.3% of the fiscal year. We do have a big couple transactions I would like to highlight. One, we do receive the first of our 7 annual remittances from the county for property tax proceeds and motor vehicle taxes and all other taxes. The 2 big ones come at the end of January for the bills due to property owners, the December 10th prior to that. And then the second comes early in the month of June for the balance of property taxes, which are owed second half in May of each year. So if you're familiar with that at your own personal circumstances, the city does receive 2 of the largest distributions timed shortly after those deadlines. The other 5 throughout the year mainly remit things like fuel, state tax, motor vehicle taxes, which come in on a monthly basis according to the pace of that activity, and other miscellaneous taxes, delinquent taxes, things like that. So you'll see sort of a better picture of where we are with those major revenues like property tax in June of each fiscal year as the 2 largest shares are remitted to the city. We don't have any concerns to report with that. One thing just for the new members of the council to be aware of, we do receive from the county and then remit to the library their share of property taxes. So those flow through the city. Our library fund shows those as expenditures and revenue that should generally match up. So for most cases, the library is what we call sort of a pass-through entity in financial reporting. So it looks like they spent money, but in essence, it's providing the funds the county gave us onto the library. I don't really have anything else to note. At this point, we will talk more in later financial reports about mid-year adjustments. Some of those are to true up estimates for capital projects like the Front Street improvements, and we talked at a recent meeting about expanding the scope of that. We'll have a proposal from BG Consultants to look at that design, expansion of the contract with Kansas Heavy Construction on the March 2nd agenda is our current slotted end date. So we'll have a lot more detailed information at that point about the various funds and what may be necessary to accomplish that. The rest of the report's set up in the standard format. Again, it's so early in the year, we don't really see a lot of trends. We will have a lot more to share also in the April financial report in a couple months, because that will be the first month that the new utility rate changes, which were approved last December, those take effect with the April 1st utility bill cycle. So we'll see immediate changes resulting from those adjustments to report back on. I'm going to stop there unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Porter? Okay, did you have anything else, Mr. Brockovich?
No further items, Mayor, thanks.
All right, thanks. City Attorney agenda, Ms. Kirstelich? All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem is absent. City Council agenda, does anyone on council have anything they want to bring up?
No.
Okay, that moves on to mayor agenda. I have a couple of things. We're going to strike item 3. Item 1, consider appointment of planning commissioner. We had 2 applicants for the position, and I'd like to appoint, based on my knowledge of her and the recommendation by Monica Gee, who is chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to appoint Amy Dale to that position, the open position. She's a great worker, and I think she'll do a great job at that point, at that spot. Do I need to get a vote on that or anything, Anna?
Yes, it's an appointment with the consent of council.
Okay, so I'd like consent of council. If you're in favor, say aye.
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 Abstain.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to item 2, executive session for discussion of non-elected personnel.
I move that the city council recess into executive session to discuss the city manager's annual review process pursuant to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel exception KSA 75-4319B1. The executive session will include the city attorney, city manager, and assistant city manager. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 7:30 p.m.
Second.
Mr. Dale has a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're in executive session. Okay, we're back in open session. Let the record show that no binding action was taken in the executive session. Mr. Dale?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the city manager's compensation package by 4% to salary and deferred compensation to the 2026 annual maximum limit.
Sounds good. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Groby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Jake, did you have anything else?
As a matter of fact, I do. Since I'm on a streak of motions, I'll motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ms. McCutcheon. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Vote with your feet.